We're going to start in the United States. The new head of General Motors has had some very tough questions to answer on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, that's right. Mary Barra was called to speak to a congressional committee to account for GM's response to a fault in its cars that's led to at least a dozen deaths. She said she was deeply sorry that the company hadn't acted faster to recall the 2.6 million vehicles affected. During the hearing, it emerged the faulty switch that caused the problem could have been replaced for less than $1. Kate Moody has the story.
GM's chief executive in the hot seat on Capitol Hill. Mary Barra was replying to questions over the firm's 10-year delay in responding to a safety problem in its small car program.
Sitting here today, I cannot tell you why it took so long for a safety defect to be announced for this program, but I can tell you we will find out.
Lawmakers are investigating why General Motors apparently took no action after first learning of a problem with faulty ignition switches in 2001. If bumped, the switches could turn off without notice, shutting off the engine and disabling power brakes and airbags.
A spring inside the switch, a piece that cost pennies, failed to provide enough force, causing the switch to turn off when the car went over a bump.
The firm finally recalled 2.6 million vehicles in February, but the problem has been blamed for at least 13 deaths. Barra described claims that the problem was ignored because it would have cost too much to fix as disturbing.
That is not the way we do business in today's GM. If we know there is a defect on our vehicles, we do not look at the cost associated with it. We look at the speed in which we can fix the issue.
She offered an apology to victims' families who'd gathered on Capitol Hill to hear her testimony, assuring them that things would be different under her watch.
Now to Germany next, where pilots at Lufthansa have begun a 3-day strike over pay. 3,800 flights have been cancelled at the airline over the action, which is the most disruptive in the company's history. The pilots have been in talks with Lufthansa for 2 years over issues including the right to early retirement at 55. In all, over 400,000 passengers will be affected by the strike. The company says it's open to new talks, but unions say they haven't seen a negotiable offer in all the time they've been discussing this issue.
Of course, we understand the frustration that we are causing for passengers. We don't want to affect passengers, but rather the employers. But unfortunately, it's only possible to strike in the cockpit. So in order to reach the employers, unfortunately, passengers have to suffer.
Right then, Russia's annexation of Crimea is causing some ructions on the financial market. Stephen, tell us more.
Yes, Standard & Poor's, the ratings agency, has downgraded Crimea's credit rating to default before withdrawing, in fact, its rating altogether. Now, this is after the region missed a payment on a bond that was due almost 2 weeks ago. Such repayments were made up until now by the Ukrainian Treasury. Now, according to SMP, the Crimean authorities told them that they had the money budgeted to pay the debt, and they had sent the papers to Kiev for the money to be paid, but the transfer never happened. Russia's finance minister has stepped in and said the payment will be made in the coming days, but for now, S&P has actually withdrawn its rating on Crimea.
Quite dramatic move there. Let's take a look at the latest market action.
We'll start actually with how things finished up on Wall Street first, and the S&P 500 on Wall Street hit a record high in trading on Tuesday, closing up 0.7%. This after positive data on new car sales and manufacturing helped investor optimism. In Asia today, the weak yen is helping the Nikkei in Tokyo to a bounce of 1.7%. As you can see there, quite a clean sweep of gains across the Asian markets. Things in China helped by news that the official industry survey showed an improvement in March after hitting an 8-month low in February. You can see that's pushed Hong Kong and the Shanghai Composite into the green.
All right, well, finally now, it is, of course, very early in the morning here in Paris. Breakfast is very important to those of us that are already up and about. Stephen, a breakfast battle in the United States, though, and one that's got quite personal. What on earth could this be about?
Yes, this is a story that's making us very hungry on the business desk this morning. This is the fast food chain Taco Bell, which launched itself into the very competitive breakfast market in the United States. In recent weeks, it's targeting business from its main rival, McDonald's, which holds around 25% of that breakfast market. The chain posted an advertisement which targets some very particular new fans of its menu. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, some very special people.
I am Ronald McDonald.
I'm Ronald McDonald Jr., and this is Ronald McDonald III.
My name is Ronald McDonald.
Specific group of people with that advertisement. McDonald's has offered, to try and bring back their competition, has offered free cups of coffee to try to win back the business they feel they might be losing to Taco Bell. But they've also responded online with this picture, which you can see coming up shortly, a picture of Ronald McDonald and a Chihuahua. Now that's important because the Chihuahua used to be the mascot for Taco Bell in its advertisement. The caption with that photo, imitation, the highest form of flattery.
Goodness me, Ronald McDonald stealing a Chihuahua, who'd have thought it? Thanks very much, Stephen Carroll with the business news there. Now then, the trend for selfies, you've probably heard about it, maybe even taken part. Did you know it even applies to the French cabinet reshuffle? Find out how in Web News.
As rumours were rife that